All right, man. Welcome up to the back. Welcome back to That's Your Controversial. Today is Promo Thursday. So I like to take the first portion of my Thursday show to promote things that other people have going on. And today I have two podcasts that I want to promote for you today. And the first one is give me 1 second. That first podcast will be where are you? It is the Ask the Angry Ninja podcast. I was talking with this gentleman here, and they have a pretty solid podcast. Their main focus right now is movies. So they talk about movies. So in the description of this podcast, it says, we talk movies, sports, and a funny take on the news. Our goal is to leave you with a ninja smile every episode. And secretly, I think the ninja wife is trying to take over. And as always, we take questions from our listeners. Support this podcast on anchor.fm. So, yeah, this is Ask the Angry Ninja. It's a pretty decent podcast. You can check them out. I have their link in the description of this video. Give them a check out. Check them out. All right. And for the second podcast, I have Happy Hour with the Hamilton Bros, right? In this podcast description, they say, kick back with the Hamilton Bros as they share some drinks, stories, and the bizarre conversation during happy hour. It's a very, very easy listen. It's really smooth. They have really good audio, really good stuff. Check them out. Show them some love. Again, their link is in our description in the video. Check them out. Give them show love. Show them some love. So with that said, I am going, boom. Welcome back. And I can't hear him.
What's up, buddy?
There he goes. Welcome back to the world of the living, my man Kyle.
How you doing?
I am fantastic. And yourself?
I'm hanging in there.
All right. What's this video call from Trace? Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. So what do we have in store today, Mr. Kyle?
Oh, what are we talking about today?
That's right.
Today we are talking about why do people get so offended? And why do people get so offended? How do they get shamed so easily? And is it a thing or is it a not thing?
Is it a thing? Is it not? You gotta excuse if he just woke up, right? So.
Yeah. Why do people get offended?
Yeah. So yeah.
What do you think?
Simple as that. Well, first of all, I'm going to go right into the definition of shame. Right here, it is.
Here we go.
We have it is a painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consciousness of wrong or foolish behavior. Okay, with that in mind, what is shame and why do we feel it? Why do you think you feel shame? Or when do you feel shame?
I think. Well, not going based on your definition because you kind of read that super fast, but just when you feel like you're not up to yourself and your standard, right. You know the saying that we are our own worst critic. That's when we kind of feel shame when things like that happen. When you do something, your conscience is like, maybe you should have done that.
Right.
Yeah. What about you?
I think shame has grown into this huge thing with culture and everything. Shame has been like this, it's on a whole nother level, right? You have this whole, body shaming, whatever, all these other kinds of shaming. And it's become like a lot of people they're really sensitive and get offended really easily. So I wanted to explore that a little bit.
Okay. So do you ever feel like I was talking about myself like personally, right? Do you ever feel ashamed of a personal level of something you've done? Not excluding society, just you yourself when you look in the mirror.
All right, I think before we get into that, we got to ask the question that we the meat and potatoes of this whole thing.
Okay.
Sorry,
I went to the dessert.
Exactly. You love your snacks. All right, hold on. So. And also, our friend Michael wanted to join us on this conversation. So if you don't mind, I'll add him into.
I guess.
This is, I guess, yeah. And just try to keep it,
Yeah.
Smooth. So, I guess, do you believe that shame is a choice? Right. What do you think? I'm Michael. Since you just joined us, do you believe that
What's
shame
up,
is a
Mike?
choice? Your audio is
Oh, so
bad,
you
bro.
gotta get him out of here, man. He only gets 2 seconds, man.
Now, anytime you connect to the car audio, it's really bad. We've had that happen with a past guest. Also, you have to go directly from the phone. Oh, that's terrible. We can't use you today, bro. Can't hear you.
Yeah.
It sounds like somebody got you in the chokehold. You can't.
You can't hear me yet?
There you go.
There he
Perfect.
goes. Oh,
Perfect.
shoot.
You got to park.
I am parked. I'm not driving like you.
All right, cool. I'm driving people crazy.
Is it a choice? That's a tough one. I don't really know how to answer that. Let me think about it. Matter of
All
fact,
right, cool.
let me think about it.
All right, man. All right, you can come back when you're ready. All right. All right. How about you, Kyle? What do you think? You think it's a choice?
I think we're never gonna get that 2 minutes back of our lives. Is shame a choice? Yes. It's no way. When you, all right, come on. Let's go deeper into the question. Can you give me can you break the question? I feel like that's super vague. Can you further explain your question?
All right, so let's say someone's intentionally trying to make you feel bad, right? Trying to
Okay.
bring shame to you, right? Do you think you have a choice on whether to feel shame, or is that something that's like a knee jerk reaction, like it's automatic? I agree. I'm sorry. I agree. That that was terrible, Mike. What a shame.
Yeah. So you asked me, do I feel like there's a choice, or do I just instantly feel that? So here's the thing about that, right? You may initially just have a knee-jerk reaction to something because you can't control how you feel initially. But then after you think about it, then you can say, you know what, maybe not, you know?
Right. I think
So
that it's I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I believe that it's a choice, man. I believe we can choose how we're gonna react. I think it I'm not a professional on this, though. I believe that we can choose how we're gonna react to something. I
okay.
think we can. I think we take a moment, and it doesn't. It's not automatic. If somebody says something to you, you choose how you're gonna react to that. You can choose to let it bother you. You can choose to say it's not important. And it goes into actually a really good question that I had here. Where is it? Like, do you believe words have power? Right?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't think it's so cut and dry, right? I believe words have the power that we attribute to them, right?
Okay. Can you give me an example?
All right. For example, what I mean by that is if someone says something to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It only has the amount of power that you attribute to it. Like if somebody,
That you allow
yeah,
it. Yeah.
exactly. So words do have power, but only the power that you allow it to have, in my humble opinion.
No, okay.
Now, if you let somebody's opinion of you overtake you, and why would you give that much power to somebody else? You have that choice. You can choose whether that person's opinion of you affects you in a certain way.
So it's like that old sticks and stones. What's it?
I guess so. No, I know.
Sticks
I
and
guess
stones.
so.
What is it? How does it go?
Sticks and stones may break my
My
bones, but
bone.
words will never hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, to go back to your first one, right? Your first question, which was, um, are we allowed? Are we? Yeah, is this a choice? Right.
Right.
I think that sometimes, like, so let's say, for example, if I'm bald, right? So I know I'm bald, right? And you come in and you make a bald joke about me,
Right.
and I feel a way about it. It's only thing you're doing is exploiting my insecurity already. All right. So I'm not saying I'm insecure about it.
Right.
What I'm saying, if I was, you would just be exploiting it, and that'll bring it up. That'll make me feel some type of way. But if I was confident and I didn't have any way of feeling any way about it, I'll laugh at you. Right back at you with something else. So I think sometimes when we feel ashamed and we allow people to shame us in a way, it's our own insecurities.
So you believe that self-esteem in a way plays a part to it? Because if you had a higher self-esteem, it probably wouldn't have bothered you.
Yes. Yeah. If you, it's not, yeah, self-esteem, or it's just just exploring something I'm vulnerable in.
Right, that's something that a Facebook user actually stated right here. This person actually says, absolutely not. It's not a choice. It goes into the mental state of a person. Self-esteem issues and lack of confidence play a big role.
Yeah.
I mean, with that said, it kind of does tell you that it is a choice, because if you do have high self-esteem and high confidence, then you can choose not to let it bother you. But
But
you know, I'm not a professional on this. It's just my opinion. This is why we have these conversations.
so I just want to understand the train of thought here. So
Okay.
you're saying, if I say something really random right now,
Mhm.
like something super random to you right now, and your reaction is your whatever it is, and it makes you just like, you saying you have a choice to act like that, right? But
Correct.
what happened if it was just so instant that you had no choice? You really had no choice. It was just something that was a knee jerk reaction, like you
What
said
I
earlier.
believe, that's a lack of self-control.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying that's a fact. That's what I believe. I believe that it's a lack of self-control, your inability to assess the situation and just make a choice. I
Okay.
have had knee-jerk reactions in my time, absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Mike is ready to join us. Hopefully he's
Hopefully he fixes audio.
yeah, hopefully he's
Or
ready
his,
to go. All right, welcome back, Mike.
nope, he ain't fix it. Let's
What's
go.
up?
Let's get him out of there.
I think it's to be honest with you, I don't think it's so cut and dry, that question, because it also depends on the person's state of mind too, at the time. Like if you tell Graham, you say a bold joke, and Graham had, like, let's say, a bad day, he might react to it differently from, like, it's the beginning of the morning and you said a bald joke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, yeah,
Good point.
in a way, words don't have meaning unless you allow it to, but it also depends on your mood at the time also.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
No, it's fine.
That's fair enough. It makes logical sense with Mike
Yeah,
said.
I just think a lot of people, I think you would benefit from being a stronger person. Like, why would you allow anybody to have that much control over how you're gonna feel today?
I don't think you saying it's a control thing. Like on a deeper level, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, all right, I'm not gonna let this person mess up my day no matter what. Right?
Right.
That's the approach you're taking, right? You said no matter what, I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be, or whatever. But at the same time, we still have ears, and
Well,
so we
absolutely.
still hear stuff,
Mhm.
and we could keep it up. Like, all right, my confidence is telling me it's gonna be a great day. It's a great day. But dad, did he really? Do my head really look that big? It's like, is
It
it's
goes
that
back to
type
the
of thing.
self-esteem thing,
Yeah.
right? And it plays a huge role at your job also, right? Because people, you got to sign those things with that say that you got to be careful with how you speak in public, because you
Mhm.
can offend people
Yeah.
even by not you. I mean, do you think that's fair that you have to be conscious of your surroundings at all time and not be able to speak freely? The question is, do you think it's fair?
It's not a matter of fair or not.
Mhm.
It's for the protection of other people. Like,
Okay, and
we could
how
be
about outside of the job?
yeah, we could, like, right now, you and I could be talking, right?
Mhm.
And I could say something reckless and it could offend someone, right?
Right.
That's something that I have to be aware of that. I have to choose my words carefully,
Right,
so
and
that's
that's why I have a problem, because
yeah, I know.
if your intention is not to offend someone, yet someone still gets offended, you
Okay,
know,
that's all right. So that's where we're
what's the
going.
workaround?
So now I see we're going with that. You think people get offended way too easy. We've grown to be very sensitive.
Right.
I agree with you. I have agree with you, but I think
I
that
agree too.
is yeah. I think that is okay. I think I'm frozen. I think
Yeah.
that's oh no! Don't do it to me! Don't do it to me! Don't kick me out. I
Now you still
think
there.
yeah. So I want to just go off for 1 second.
The W's there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Mike style. So I think we do have to keep in mind, not to be too sensitive, and we have to. Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second. I'm sorry about that. Yeah,
No, that's fine.
we do have to keep in mind other people's feelings when we speak, because our words do have actions. And you don't know what that person is going through.
Right.
Like Mike has said. So just something to be conscious of.
Right.
I do think we've grown sensitive, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
All right. I want to address some of these comments here real
It's a
quick.
generational thing.
It probably is. So one person says, Marmar says she believes, all right, for me, shame and offended feeling is a choice. When people try, and I mean try to offend me, it will never break me because I do not care what people think of me. I think there's power in that. And someone says, "Oh my God, no, Ricardo! Please get a professional in, please." I agree. I am not a professional. If you happen to know a professional, please invite them to the That's So Controversial podcast. We can be found on YouTube and other places where podcasts can be heard. Shameless plug. And let me see. Mommy Flo says, depends on the person you are too. Some people may be able to handle criticism different. That's a really, really good point. Also, people's ability to handle the things in a different situation. And motivation here says it depends who it comes from.
But don't you think that's a double standard? Like depending on who it comes from. Because if somebody tells you the same exact thing that another person that says, like it's kind of like a double standard,
Right.
Because
I like.
it's okay because this person, for example, who said it.
Right.
You're gonna give them leeway because they're my friend or we have an established relationship. Whereas if it was a stranger who said the same exact thing, you're gonna go off on them because they said that. Oh, who's this person?
Right. I like what this person says. All right, the show is about personal opinions, but you have to be careful with certain topics because shame is a mental health issue, and a topic like that needs more facts than opinions. And this is what the show is about. You see, if you would not have mentioned that particular, this is about educating ourselves and hearing from other perspectives. And this is exactly the kind of thing that the show is about. So being able to hear this from another perspective, it's not something that I was necessarily thinking about. It's a very, very, very good point. And I think that's where this platform benefits from being able to have these conversations, because this topic is one of those taboo topics where people are afraid to talk about it because they're worried about whether it's going to be socially acceptable or whatnot. But one of the benefits of having this platform is exactly that, being able to hear from different people's perspectives and hearing from other people's experiences, and we educate ourselves. I mean, your statement personified exactly what this platform is for, and I appreciate that your comment. It's a valid point because I never really actually thought about it from a mental health standpoint, because I mean that's something that's medical 100%, and it should definitely.
I think that's coming from like maybe a psychological abuse perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if somebody was, for example, verbally abused and said like they body shamed, for example, somebody was body shamed from a young age, and then they get into their adulthood and you say the same joke as what somebody said many years ago, they might react to it differently. Like they could have like just brushed it off back then, but now it's like enough is enough. I'm tired of hearing the same joke.
Right.
It's
No,
not
absolutely.
okay. It's not acceptable to me.
No, but that's where you're taking control.
Yeah,
exactly. That's where you're taking control of the situation, and you're saying it. Now you're saying that you let the person know that it bothers you, and now they get to choose whether they continue to do it because they're a bad person or they respect you and make the appropriate adjustment. And
some people verbally express it.
Yeah, I've fallen victim to that at times. Because I love to laugh and joke, but not at the expense of someone ever. I love to joke. I love inappropriate jokes. That's one of my things that just makes me chuckle too much. I don't know why it makes me so loud, but it's been like that for a long time. But I always try to be conscious of whether I'm hurting someone's feelings, because that's the last thing I want to do is intentionally hurt someone. But with that said, I think it's very important for people to start, loving themselves more than that, than caring. And I think, it goes back to a lot of the other topics we have with social media and likes and feeling that sense of approval. Hello?
I'm hearing you.
Thought it went blank.
I just muted my mic.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I guess that goes right into the one of the other questions we were talking about. Does low self-esteem contribute to feelings of shame?
I don't necessarily think that you have to have low self esteem to contribute. That it contributes to shame.
Mhm.
You could just have high self esteem, and if somebody says something wrong to you, just react to it. Like I
Right.
said, you could have a bad day, and just this one time somebody says something, and you're like, "What the hell did you say to me?"
No, I definitely get it. I definitely get it. It's a sensitive topic, man, and it's a broad topic too because you can also feel shame like if you're getting arrested, right? If you're embarrassed, you feel shame. That's a different level of it. So I don't know if we're gonna get Mr. Kyle back, but we'll keep moving because there's some really really good questions about this because like this is for me this is one of the most dangerous components of shame and people feeling shame, right? Is like how do we know if someone is actually feeling shame, right? Do we take them at face value? Do we just
Sometimes they don't express it.
no, that's I'm not saying whether they express it or not. I'm talking about people who actually are expressing it. How do we know that it's legit? How do we know they're actually feeling shame? Because that's the dangerous component of shame that I'm worried about. Love you too, Matt. Like when it comes to shame, right? People also use it as a tool to target certain people, right? Let's say, for example, there's a celebrity or somebody that doesn't favor your political party and you want to attack them, right? You go into the history, you find something that you deem might be offensive, and you use that as a platform to try to attack them. Is that person really feeling shame, or are they using it as a tool to as a to push a political agenda or something like that? And I think that's where it gets a little bit dangerous.
Perfect example is that guy from Power who faked that entire incident that he said that the guys beat him and all that stuff.
Right, right.
Yeah, like when that really happens, it kind of like taints it because
Actually,
I feel bad for the people that really had to deal with something like that.
exactly.
Their story doesn't get heard because someone like him wants to stage something.
Right, to try to push, uh, uh, try to attack someone.
Yeah.
So, in that same context, right? Now, do we take it a level further? Do we create a system where we have to validate whether someone's actually feeling shame, or do we take it at face value?
I think that people should be more expressive as far as how they feel, but I can't, force you to do that.
Right.
Not everybody can easily do that.
Yeah. I think cancel culture takes a huge advantage out of that. It's like they may not give two cares about what this person said, but they see it as an opportunity to exploit something that they might have, that might have been offensive to a particular group, and they use that to catapult their own agenda. And I think that's where it gets dangerous. So that's why I think that when it comes to shame, people got to be really really careful. Because let's say I didn't like you for whatever reason, right? And I do a deep dive into your social media, and I find this one topic that could be offensive to a particular group, whatever that topic may be, it doesn't matter, right? And now I use this to kind of like say, oh, this guy's not such a great guy. Look what he said before. He's offending this particular group of people, and I create this whole animosity towards you based on something that I actually wasn't offended by, but I used that shame platform to sort of push that issue.
Some people use that tactic when it comes to dating. They try to make someone else look bad, just so, like, for example, if the dude knows that a girl is talking to some guy, oh, I've seen him with someone else, but it's not true. He's just trying to get her to leave him or stop getting to know the other guy just so he can have an opportunity to talk to her.
Yeah, that's something different for sure. Hold on one second. I'm trying to find out what's going on with Kyle. Like, any luck, good sir? I just sent him a message really quick. Yeah, so I don't know. It really is such a broad topic, man. Shame, 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 shame on you. Well, I don't know, man. It's like felt like, let me see. Hold on. What about shame and I like this. Hold on. What about shame and children? Bullying comes to mind. It's not easy for children to have control of their emotions. That's a very, very, very good point. And that's something that I personally have always been conscious of. So from the beginning, when it comes to my kid, I talk to him about this. I tell him about having tough skin and not allowing someone's opinion of him to have value. And I think that's important. I think that's something that we all should be doing. Like trying to teach that to our kids, instill a strong sense of self in them from young. And I think they'll have a huge benefit, growing up, and they won't be so sensitive to certain topics because it sends you on a path where life is just miserable. You can't say anything anymore.
Yeah, I do the same thing with my kids, as far as how people look different, and we come in different shapes and sizes and stuff, because I don't want my kids to offend anyone, as far as because they might be, for example, like overweight or something like that.
Yep.
We you know and I've seen people's kids who actually just blurt out some things, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how do you not teach your kids about not body shaming somebody?
Right.
Because something like that can really hurt somebody to the point that they cause harm to themselves. And
All right.
do you really want to be responsible for that?
Yeah.
For
And that's another great. I definitely wanted to talk about that. That's one of the big issues when it comes to shaming, right? The whole body shaming and fat shaming and stuff like that, right? Like, you shouldn't be ashamed because you have a different physical build. Like, why should you be ashamed? Because someone else's opinion of you, now you feel ashamed? Like, let's say you never felt shame a day in life and you was a big guy or a big girl or whatever, right? Always have been big, never had a problem with it in your life until somebody says something intentionally to offend you. Why? Why do you let that bother you? And that's my whole thing with this. Why would you give someone, that much authority over, your happiness essentially? And I think that's
everybody
something we
reacts
got to
different.
teach. No, I understood. I think it has to do with the way we raise our kids, man. We have to instill that confidence in them from young, and we have to be repetitive about it. We have to continuously do it, and just make sure that they understand that words only have the value that you attribute to them, and that's my thing. No, I agree. I'm not saying it's simple. I'm just saying that it's possible and that we should do more. Do more. I don't think it's something that you should just all right.
There's no
I
perfect answer to this
yes,
topic where
yes,
people are gonna say, you know what, that's gonna work. That's gonna help everybody, because every individual is different. So we all have to take it, differently. You know.
right. Yeah, no, but that's exactly like this is not a cure all or something. This is not like I don't have the answers. I'm just trying to express, what my approach is and what I think would be hugely beneficial to most people. May not agree because there's that element of mental health, right? That's something that I don't know if there's a workaround for that. I don't know if there's medication. I don't know if there's education that can help in that situation. So, it is a slippery slope when it comes to shame. I guess I've always bothered me that I can't freely talk about things because I got to worry about how someone else might feel. And I think that's the horrible aspect of it. It's like, why do I have to filter myself when I know that my intentions are not to harm somebody, but ultimately someone can still be affected or offended by something I said. It's like you constantly got to be, operating on a swivel, constantly be got to be cautious about every word that comes out of your mouth. And that's kind of, it's kind of sucks to live that way.
I think everybody is like that though. To a certain extent, you're filtered to like what you say out loud, because some things that you may say out loud, people don't know where you're coming from because they can't read your mind.
Hmm.
Like you could say a joke just to be funny, but and have no intention to hurt the person, but they might take it that way.
Right. But do you think that you should be responsible for that? That's another question.
I would say yes and no.
Okay. I agree, and I would love to hear from everyone else from this, because obviously this is a topic where people feel very, very differently across the landscape. So I would love to hear from you guys. I do not have the answers whatsoever. This is a topic I definitely want to explore and continue exploring even after today's episode, because it's a huge thing. It's a huge platform. People talk about this stuff all the time. It's like everyone's getting offended about everything. It's like where do we draw a line? I'm afraid they're gonna get to a point where we won't even be able to speak, because anything you say, someone's going to get offended by it. And that's my biggest fear. It's like, are we going to get to a point where we can't say anything? Because now someone's going to say, you know what, don't talk, words offend me. I'm being extreme, obviously. It's like, oh my God, is he breathing? Breathing, that's offensive, the way he's breathing. I'm being extreme, obviously, but you know who knows in this world right now. It's crazy. Yeah.
I remember a situation that I went through where I was told not to address people by sir or ma'am because you don't
Oh,
know how they would take that. And
you can't.
growing up, my parents will always taught me respect for one another, for especially the elderly. So when I see somebody and I say, "Oh, how you doing, sir? How you doing, ma'am?" I'm not saying it like, even if you identify as a different gender,
Mhm.
I'm not saying it maliciously to hurt you or to try to throw a funny in there. You know,
Exactly my point. With the social landscape constantly being dynamic and constantly changing, and the definitions of certain things constantly changing, it's tough. It's tough to say anything, because like you said, us old school people, right, we've grown up with saying sir and ma'am as a form of respect, not as a form of hurting someone's feelings. That's something that we're doing in order to to show respect, because that's the way we were raised. Now if you say it to the wrong person, they can really, really get upset about it. And if they feel you were doing it with malice, now there are laws that I think that are in place that you can get pursued criminally. Let me see
at
what
the end of the day, I can get offended just as much as the person that I say that to, because I feel like I'm not being respectful towards that person if I don't say how you doing, sir, how you doing, ma'am, because at the end of the day, I'm changing the person that I am for what I'm being told to say. You
right.
know,
I like what Eddie Canvas says. He says it's hard on some people when one makes mistakes and others make fun of them, when we all learn at our own pace. And this was really big for me as a parent when I first had my kid, right? We constantly, I think we all fall victim to this. We always compare our kids to other kids. Like, oh, my kid's not walking yet. And a lot of parents, they try to shame you. Like, oh my God, your kid's not walking yet. My kid started walking at 2 weeks. I'm exaggerating again, obviously. But I think every parent has experienced that. Oh, is your kid talking yet? My kid was talking at 6 months. And that's a very good point that Eddie says. And I think when kids are that young, I don't know if they're too concerned about being offended, but I think the parents do get offended by that, which you got to try not to, because like you said, kids do learn at their own pace. And when I've had those conversations with other parents and they ask, oh, when did your kids start doing this, that, and third? And I was like, don't really concern yourself with that, and don't use other people's kids as a
comparison.
yeah, as a standard, right? Because kids learn at their own pace.
I agree.
At the end of the day, your kid is going to talk unless they have a medical issue. Your kid is going to walk unless they have a medical issue. Your kid is going to, reach all these milestones at some point for sure. We just got to stop, being our own worst enemy and stop saying things like, stop making those comparisons. Because if you think about it, for those of us who have kids that have grown up, all of those insecurities and all those things that we were shameful of, they were it didn't come to pass. It's something that it's a fear that it's something that it was. I can't find the words I'm trying to say, but it's something we were worried about for no reason. Yeah, see, all parents do it. We make that same thing. Some people really are too much, though. If I don't want to be called ma'am, I just ask them to call me by my name. Exactly. And when you do something like that, like, do you say it like with attitude, or do you understand that they don't mean you malintent? I'm curious about that. Do you be like, I'm not a ma'am, or whatever, call me by my name. So let me see. And this person I show says, I try to keep her up on her milestones, and I keep a pressure on myself as a parent and try her hardest to be smart. Yeah, but like I know her daughter, she's really really young, but as far as the milestones are concerned, I think even your doctors will tell you that eventually she'll grow. Eventually she'll start doing this. Eventually she'll start doing that. It's not like it's something that it's worrisome unless there is like a medical condition that you have to worry about.
Yeah, learning disability or of some sort.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, other than that, to feel shame because somebody's kid started writing when they were 5 months and your kid doesn't even know how to hold a pencil, it's something that you shouldn't be worried about. It's I don't know. It's crazy.
So,
I
do you
got
think it's easier for parents with one children compared to several?
say that again.
Avoid. Do you think it's easier for parents who have one child uh, to avoid, making their child feel some type of way compared to someone who has several children? As far as
Uh,
the putting the pressure on the kids to meet those milestones.
I think that parents with multiple children make comparisons with their kids. Like, oh, this kid learned at this pace and this kid's falling behind. So I'm not 100% sure.
I just
It,
use it as a guide, but I don't try to compare my youngest to my oldest or my oldest to my youngest because when I was growing up, I was always compared to my older brother, and I didn't like that. Even though he was a good person, I didn't like that because I always felt like what I did was never enough. But I also took it as a positive because you got to see some positive in the negative. My mother was the type that she always wanted me to push for more instead of settling for just me being mediocre.
right. But there's nothing wrong with wanting more for your children. That's a good thing. You should always encourage them and push them to be strong. And I think that when it comes to the shame thing, we should also incorporate that. Also, make them stronger individuals and not so concerned about what people's perceptions of them are. Whether they, if my kid turned out to be a big kid, he gained some weight. I don't want him to fall victim to feeling fat shamed or whatever. That's something that he should not worry about what people's opinions are. But again, you have to worry about that element of mental illness, and that's a real thing. It's a real issue.
How about shaming somebody indirectly? Like for example, somebody could still feel offended. Like for let's say you say to somebody hey, why don't we go work out at the gym after work or something? And they might see it as, oh, are you calling me fat?
I know.
You know.
Yeah. Again, Eddie Canvas makes a really, really good point, and I want to talk more about this. He says, "I was picked on in school because I had bald spots or my hands nails were long. There were times where I almost let it get to me, but I just realized I was just annoyed." Yeah. So, I'm curious at what age this was. You was talking about high school, grade school, and is that something that you got over on your own, or this is someone teach you how to not care or not worry about what someone else is feeling? It's a very good thing. I'm not sure we're gonna get Cal back, so we got another 5-10 minutes before the show's over. But it was nice having him guest appear on the show.
He did a cameo.
Yeah, basically. So do you have a specific incident where you think that you might have felt shame, and do you know why you felt it, or is there something that you think that in retrospect you should not have felt that way about it?
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but uh, I have felt a certain way, like once, where somebody is telling a certain joke about me in front of other people because there's other people around. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel that that also has that could be a factor of how you feel when somebody tells you something. Like you could tell me a joke one-on-one, and I might not feel a certain way. But then if you say it in front of other people, it might embarrass me, you know?
Right.
Now, is the person doing it because they're trying to test the waters to see how much you can hold? Or
Right.
are they doing it because they're just, it doesn't matter if you're one-on-one with them or if you're in a group setting. They're
Right.
still gonna, like, for example, roast you.
What?
I said, are they doing it
No, you said, for example.
I'm sorry. Yeah, are they doing it because they're trying to get, I guess, they're trying to make the group laugh because there's people around, or are
Right.
they just doing it just because
See,
it
in
doesn't
that situation, the person, you got to figure out whether the person has malintentions, right? If they're trying to intentionally, make you feel shame, and then you have to, wonder, if, why would they do that, And I'll give you another example. Like when I was a bigger person, right? I was ashamed to take my shirt off at the beach.
When you were fluffy, I already told you.
When I had a nice pair of baloney boobs on me. What do you call it? I used to be concerned about, what people would think of when I took my shirt off at the beach. And it used to like hinder my ability to enjoy myself at the beach. I wouldn't want to take my shirt off because it's too damn hot. And at some point I just decided, what, I'm not going to care what anybody thinks. And I started taking my shirt off at the beach, and it was freeing. Initially I was like,
You were looking around to see who was looking at you.
Yeah, exactly. But with time, it went away, and I was able to take pictures like that, and it's just so freeing, not being concerned with what other people think. And that's what I talked about earlier about words and their value, right? Words only have the value that you attribute to them, and that's just my humble opinion.
I think you have to be comfortable in your own skin as well, though.
Yeah.
If you're not, then of course you're gonna feel some type of way.
Let me get back to some of these comments. He goes, Maria says, intentionally shaming someone is disrespectful, but we should work on our own insecurities and not allow people to get to us. I definitely, I agree. I agree. I think not necessarily. I don't think it's 100% hand in hand, but I think there's a certain level of confidence, and if you can get that, I think you'll be less shamed and less offended again, unless there is that component of mental illness.
Yes, I feel like it's like a house. You have to have a solid foundation in order.
Yes.
In order for things not to break you down.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. But yes, there's different factors that can make that that can make it that the health, like you said, the mental state of mind also is very important. If you don't have a healthy mental state of mind, everything could also bother you as well.
Yeah, your audio went really bad. I don't know what you did. You went back to. There you go.
I said that like I said, the you have to build a solid foundation. But even with the solid foundation, just like you said, if you have mental health issues, also that can play a part as how much you can take too,
Right. Absolutely.
by what other people say about you. But it's kind of like a thing where, like, there's no right or wrong answer. What works for me may not work for you.
Right. Yeah, again, man, I definitely want to explore this topic a little more at a later time. And it's just, I would definitely like to have more people's opinions because, like I said, a lot of people feel differently about this. And we live in a world where we have to, be careful what we say. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right because I definitely don't have intentions of, hurting someone's feelings. But at the same time, someone could be listening to your conversation and get offended. And, you know, it's the world we live in right now. I guess we gotta, you know, move with the times.
I guess we have to adapt to the times. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. With that said, man, that's going to bring today's show to a close. I want to thank everyone that showed up today. I really appreciate you guys. Everybody in the comment sections, you guys make the show happen. And again, I really appreciate everyone's participation, everybody's thoughts and opinions, because that's exactly what this platform is about. It's about having these discussions and learning from each other. But like, this is not about a show about me educating you because that is so far from the truth. I am not an expert on anything. I just have experience in life and I want to share my life experience with you guys. And I want to hear from your different experiences and perspectives. And I hope that you guys find value in this platform. And if you find value in this platform, you can always feel free to participate and be a part of this community. And we could learn from each other and educate each other, inspire each other, and just be better people. Like I can always say, we don't have to agree, but we should definitely be able to talk about these things. And with that said, man, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And if this is your first time here, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel and listen to us on any other podcasts where podcasts can be heard. Until next time, man, take care. Have a fantastic evening and enjoy your weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Also, if you guys are on my Instagram page, I will be putting up, I think on Sunday, a thing where I'm going to be giving away $50 to a lucky person. So stay tuned for that. Take care and have a fantastic evening. Enjoy your weekend, man. Stay safe.
Hi, Mom.